Manchester United new stadium redevelopment plans just released. Old Trafford regeneration. They're talking about redoing the entire waterfront, a Wembley of the North type project. If you're familiar with Wembley, they redeveloped the whole area around it. It's incredible. If you've ever been to Wembley, imagine that in Manchester. This has got me fired up. Obviously, it's a long-term vision, but INEOS punching above their weight class as far as the stadium and community redevelopment. I love this plan.
No, I mean, every Manchester United fan, when INEOS came in and Sir Jim Ratcliffe came in, trepidation of what his intentions are. I think this speaks to what the intentions are of INEOS and with Manchester United over the next decade. These are ambitious plans. These are plans that will continue to iterate over the coming years because now government's getting involved, local municipalities getting involved. It's a big, big project, and the scope of it is truly ambitious. So this is very exciting to see. They've already changed plans. There was that original plan that we're going to keep Old Trafford, scale it down, use it for the youth and the women. They're like, that's fucking expensive and complex. They're still not convinced that they're actually going to build a new one. I think they're going that way, but what they're seeing is this is going to be like a marquee stadium in the north. They want to host boxing matches, 100,000 seater, all the kind of events, stadiums, everything, build the infrastructure around it, redevelop the wharf. It's a huge project, hugely ambitious, and it just speaks to what they see with United. It's like there's going to be many ways to bring cash into this club and support the team, and it's not going to just be football-related activities.
Yeah, and Wembley transformed the entire area around Wembley Park. And if you look at it today, it doesn't look anything like it did over 2 decades ago. And you can see here, just pulling up an image of what it looks like. And you can see the redevelopment here. This is them just building Wembley Park. And you can see the tube and all the buildings that have been constructed since then. It's truly amazing what Wembley has done for that area. And they want to do the same thing with the Old Trafford redevelopment project here. You can see them redeveloping commercial real estate along the wharf. And if you've ever been to that area, it's a really nice part of town. The surrounding areas are like a little run down, some old English pubs, sir, the Bishop's Blaze, the Trafford. But if you were to revision Old Trafford and the full fan experience that you would expect for something like a treasured club like Manchester United, you'd love to go there and have the history built in to the area. Like if you go to, for example, we go to the Emirates, right? The whole area is developed around the stadium, right? A lot of history, statues, etc., community areas, and you'd like to see that around Old Trafford. And you go there, it's kind of just like, boom, Old Trafford's kind of running up on the old part of town, like the rundown commercial real estate area in the back. And so there's a ton of opportunity, and that vision of the Wembley of the North, it just really resonates with me because that's what Manchester United deserves. And you add in the whole other revenue streams of hosting NFL games or even European, like serious European games, like the old Manchester United Old Trafford didn't even qualify for Europa 2028, which is a
tragic
crime. And so the fact that we're being passed by and the empty hat is getting it is crazy. So I really like this idea. It's in the early stages, so we shall see kind of what they come up with. This is probably like a decade-long project, but it's going to benefit Manchester United and benefit the fans over the long term, and I'm 100% behind it.
And you know what? Beyond what's right for the city, for the club, this is good for north of England. It's like if you look at what's happened in the last 20 years, London's never looked better. They're getting all the shine. They're getting all the cash, but like the north, given the historical gravitas and how much of the population lives outside of London, they deserve kind of a marquee project to bring people there, to kind of bring some of the focus off London, which is lovely and never looked better. But at the same time, like Manchester deserves the shine, the North deserves the shine. And what better place to build it around than like a great city in Manchester, a great club and institution in Manchester United, and it can kind of be an anchor for kind of like, redeveloping that whole region of the country. So this is super exciting. It shows that the vision of INEOS is very ambitious, and this is going to be a very, very complicated project now because the government's going to be involved, and there's lots of different agencies, and there's going to be a lot of money, and where do you find the money? But you know what? That's what we want to see from a club. This guy is not looking to like trade this thing in 5 years. He's a steward. And that's what we need, and that's someone who understands how important this club is and how important it is, not just to the fans, but to the greater community as a whole. So this is exciting.
Yeah, and just to give maybe the American Red Devil fans who haven't been to Manchester proper, like what the stadium experience is now, and we could talk about like the stadium needs to be rebuilt. I hate to say that, but it's beyond repair, really, if you look at it. Once you get inside Old Trafford, it's beautiful. Like you're in your seat, you're looking, it's amazing. But the outside, even the internals of it, just the staircase to get to the upper Stretford End, just like the urine leaking all over the floor. Like the concessions are horrific. Like the fan experience is very low. It's kind of a bummer. Like other than getting in your seat and watching the greatest football team in the world play, it's a bummer. Now, we've gone to Wembley for cup finals before. Great food, good experience, nice seats. And I just feel like United needs to upgrade the fan experience. We also went to the Emirates, like I talked about before, and ahead of the game at the club level, great food, giant projector screens where you're watching the other games that are going on that day, so you can go to the stadium early. That doesn't exist.
Spend money.
I mean, that exists in maybe the hospitality side of things, but even that isn't that nice. Like at the Emirates, it's very nice, and that's like 15, 20 years old at this point. So the fan experience already is kind of a bummer. I'm not like necessarily a snob. I'm more the kind of old school, so I don't mind it today, but you could enjoy a little of a shine there. And then you add like, you can't take public transport via like a tube or anything. You got to get on a bus from downtown. You got to try to get a cab. It's impossible to leave. You got to leave the match early. Like just the public infrastructure to get to the stadium. Think about Manchester United in Manchester. You can't really get there from the train station. You take the train from London. It's a nightmare to get to the stadium or leave. Like if you properly redevelop it, that has to be on the cards to get people into the stadium and out of the stadium, right? You know, you go to Yankee Stadium in New York, you get the subway. You go to Wembley, you get the tube. You go to Manchester, you're literally walking on the side of the highway. Like you and me have walked on the side of the highway to try to get a taxi to get out. It's not a great experience, and there's plenty to do. And obviously the area can be redeveloped. Nothing against the area surrounding it, but you know, some commercial investment there would go a long way to redeveloping the waterfront, which is beautiful, and like having that link with the fan experience. So lots to do for Manchester United. It could be improved greatly.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason they didn't get one of the Euro, they weren't one of the Euro host stadiums because you can't have fans walking down the side of the road.
It's kind of a dump.
Which is every game now. So very exciting times ahead for Manchester United. It's going to take a long time. It's going to cost a lot of money. There's going to be a lot of people involved, but it's exciting. It shows where the club is going. A lot of ways to monetize things, which we don't want to make it all about that. But hey, the more money we make, the more money we can spend on the team.
We're broke.
And the
we
better
need the money.
Yeah, we have so much debt that we got to pay off the debt. So this is exciting. This is ambitious, and this is visionary. And this is what you need to be Manchester United in the 21st century and take this club back to the promised land. It's like you need to be very ambitious, and we are.
We're going to keep you posted about the stadium plan. I think this is a huge component for the club and INEOS going forward. This is really how Ratcliffe is going to leave his mark. If you disagree with anything we said, or you think they should keep the old stadium or renovate it, please drop it in the comments below. We'll keep you posted on everything here, Manchester United, on the American Red Devils YouTube channel.